Night outs absolutely suck moose, and today I'm going to tell you why. First of all, there's nothing to do. If you're not a dumbass, it won't be fun. But if you want to pull, you'll be pulling a lass who's in just as rough of a state as you. But if you want to talk with your mates, which you won't be able to anyway because the music's too loud, just go to a pub because you'll actually be able to hear yourself speak. Because people usually go to pubs for like a warm-up or something. Like, you're not going to get smashed as it is anyway. Now, I'm specifically on about clubs here, but there's also karaoke bars which suck. Karaoke bars suck because it's just the same boring idiots who are singing all the time. But the ones abroad are actually good. Like, I went to Paris and I was in a karaoke bar. That was mint. But just going to ones around your own hometown and that, rubbish. Also, bouncers, complete twats, right, and control freaks. I got booted out of a nightclub once, well, I've been booted out a few times, and I was like, okay, I'm obliging, but can I just quickly get my coat, which is just there? Like, no, they don't want to hear it, so my mate had to bring it out afterwards. And the proper nonsense. Back when I was a lot younger, there used to be this one 17-year-old lass, right, she used to just wear push-up bra when she was getting ready, and she'd be able to get in every single time. I've had a couple of mates who've tried to get in and they've not had the right shoes, and they don't just say, oh, sorry mate, no, you got the wrong shoes, and you know, I know it's a stupid rule, but I don't want to lose my job. They're like, nah, fuck off mate, nah, piss off. Like, it's so rude to you for no reason. You're 40 odd and you're being a dick to someone who's 20. Don't even get me started on the bloody security guards that work in like Greggs and that. But no, the ones on nightclubs are just complete pricks. Now don't get me wrong, the occasional night out is good. I've had a few good nights out, right? The occasional night out is good, by the way. Like, I even went on a night out in Hartlepool, and to be honest, that was actually quite good, but only because I did it once. I know that if I did that again, it would be rubbish, because even though it was kind of dead, I had a fun time by myself. I was meant to be in Middlesbrough, but I just randomly decided, oh no, I'm gonna go actually in Hartlepool. Also, drugs. Now, I've had friends who've done drugs. The friends that I'm mostly hanging around with haven't done drugs, apart from one or two of them. You just go into the toilets and people are just doing them there. Good to see the clubs have got their priorities straight. Shoes bad, drugs okay. Oh wait, no, actually they put signs up saying drugs are bad. Right, yeah, but that doesn't mean anything though, does it? I don't trust my drinks not to be spiked. Also, you walk around Newcastle, right? There's always these same people who are selling stupid hats and like things to put around your neck and that are just ridiculous. It's not them specifically that are dumb, because they're smart, right? But it's the fucking idiots who think, oh, I'm going to be dead funny and original by buying one of these. And you probably get them for about a £5. I wouldn't know, I don't buy them, I'm not a dickhead. They're not the only people that come up to you. You get people who hand out little cards who tell you to come to their dead clubs. So you get your free entry or a discount entry or something like that, and you get offered a few drinks. And you just know that when you come in, it'll be rubbish. So this is what a few of my friends did, right? We were looking for our mates, right? We didn't know where they were. And we got given a little card off someone being like, oh, come to this nightclub and it'll be this mint and you can do this and this and you'll get these free drinks and that. So what we did was we got the free drinks and then shamelessly left straight away. Now, however, some bouncers don't like this. They'll actually start on you for that. And you get so many people thinking that they're hard and just thinking that they can be rude to you. Like, you're on a night out, mate. You're a peasant and you think you're hard. Like, I was in Wonder Bar in the Gate in Newcastle, right? I was with my mate, right? And he was like trying to get a drink. And for some reason, they just wouldn't come up to him and serve him. So I was like, right, you've been waiting there for a while. I'm going to make sure you get served. And so I started saying, you know, when's my mate going to get served here? And this prick next to me, he was only fucking skinny. I could have fucking headbutted the cunt. It was like, hey mate, the more you do that, you're not going to get served. Oh, you're being a bit of a knob, you know. And I was like, no, I'm not being a knob. You are. He started saying to the bouncers, oh, he's a dick, isn't he? And do you know what was funny after all of that? After my mate got served, he came up to us and he apologised. I wasn't even going to go up to this guy again, but he apologised. I don't think I'm mad. I just think he's a prick. Little skinny bald fucker who's only about fucking 26. And you have dumbass conversations with dumbass people. I'd say you both know you don't want to be chatting to each other. I know this person that I'm probably chatting to at that second in time doesn't want to. It's like you'll be there chatting to another drunk lad. You know, you probably would rather be chatting to the drunk lasses, being like, oh, and this happened, and yeah, and oh, I respect that. Yeah, shut up, man. My mate came back from the army, and he was like, oh, we need to go out. So I was like, okay, I'll go out with you, because I never see you, and you're one of my best mates. And do you know what we pointed out? We pointed out this guy who was like 30. He's 30 years old in a nightclub. And afterwards, I thought about that, and I'm like, yeah, if you're over the age of 27 and you're in a nightclub, you're a bit of a loser, aren't you? Like, as soon as you get to 24, you need to stop going to these places. Because it's fun when you're 18. Like, my brother used to get in when he was 17 sometimes by just taking my ID. Like, I'd give it to him and that, I don't mind. And, like, that would be fun. When he eventually turned 18, we could use both our IDs, and I started going a little bit. And, yeah, no, fair dues, it was fun. I don't even think I actually started till I was 19. Since I've been doing that for a little while, like, I think it is just a bit rubbish. Like, we had a fire in the woods the other night, like, me and about 6 of my mates, and we were like, yeah, this is so much better. And every time you do something like that on the night time, it's better. There was one time when me and my mate just walked around on the night and we were like, this is class, this is better. Me and a couple of my mates used to climb on top of roofs. I mean, you shouldn't be doing it, but it was fun. Abandoned buildings, all that, but genuinely just walking around on a night is just better. But also, the number one thing, right, is money. It's expensive to get in, and the drink, which, by the way, you just tap your card without seeing the price. So you assume you just don't want to see the price. You spend about 30 minutes worth of your wage to buy this. So if you work a very well paid job, like Amazon, for example, where you get paid like, what, £14 an hour, I think they're on, you tap your card, and that's like half an hour's work for like a crappy bottle of the devil's piss. It tastes like crap, all of it. Like Jaeger bombs and that. Like, how much does a Jaeger bomb cost? I don't know, but I had so many the other night. But yeah, it is for peasants, but you only realise this when you're sober. I was in the nightclub in Newcastle, which is next to the train station, right? And I ended up buying this drink, and I'd been out for a while at that point, right? And after we brought this drink, I thought to myself, now what? We've got this drink in our hand. Where do we go? Let's dance. Do you know what I mean? Like, where do we actually walk to now? There's nothing to do. But in a nightclub, there is two scenarios, right, that you can walk into. Number one, where it's a sweaty, crowded mess. There was this one nightclub where you just couldn't walk, and like I say, it was sweating, it was awful. You couldn't move. Or it's the opposite, where it's dead, where you walk into a nightclub where there's barely anyone in. That's rubbish. That is a rubbish nightclub. But like I say, I've been booted out a few times. A few of my mates have. Right, and to be honest, half the time we don't actually do too much wrong. There's been times where it's probably justified, but like, I promise you, most of the time we don't do out wrong. There's worse people than us. We've never done drugs or anything. I mean, there's been times where we've just been chatting rubbish, like after walking out the club for a sec in front of the bloody bouncers, and then we try to walk back in and we're like, oh no, we've just heard you speak about this and this, so we can't let you back in. But I remember one time I was booted out for dancing. I was like, what's the music for? It would be dead without it, to be fair, because you'd let it be known that there's no atmosphere. But why am I getting kicked out for dancing? What should I be doing instead? Going up to these unpredictable people, chatting to them, trying to pull a drunk lass, because if you pull a drunk lass you get done for you know what. I know you must be thinking like, oh, you must have been dancing, fucking like jumping off the walls and stuff like that, and you must have been like grabbing over it. No, I was literally dancing on my own little space with my friends. But yeah, the bouncers are dickheads, they're complete control freaks, they're so rude to you for no reason, telling you to fuck off and stuff. So they're bullies, basically. Cowards. A bully is a coward. There's also times where you can just throw up, and taxis will refuse you. That's another thing that I'll throw in. The bogs completely reek. There'll be piss everywhere. They'll be trying not to stand in puddles of piss. There's the walk home, which I suppose isn't really an issue for me, because like when you go out in Newcastle, it's only like a 10-minute walk, and it also ruins the next day because of your head. Like it's been rare where I've had like a bad hangover, but there's been times though where I've gone out with my mate who's from the army, and obviously he's a big squaddy innit, so he starts giving me he starts just buying drinks, and he buys them for other people without even like consulting us if we want them, and he buys this rough stuff and oh my goodness, I went home once, I was like, I can't handle this stuff that you're making me drink. So let's summarise this. So you get into a nightclub, you buy a drink which costs an hour's worth of your wage, you do nothing in the nightclub, probably get started on at some point throughout the night, then you go home thinking, what the fuck was that all for? After maybe popping into Mackey's before. Then you wake up with a hangover the next morning as well. Thank you for watching this anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time in a bit.